Hello, my name is Scott Ham, and I'm going to be giving a speech on leadership. To start off, we must ask ourselves a very simple question that is really difficult to answer. What is the definition of a leader? There are different leaders all over the world, and they hold many different professions, positions, and they have many different beliefs. Some of the people that immediately come to mind are the President of the United States, the Pope, historic leaders such as Gandhi and Martin Luther King, team captains, student leaders, parents, teachers, and friends. Each of these people have different qualities, but they all make that make them a leader. In your notebooks, please write down 3 qualities that you feel every leader possesses, and also write down 3 leaders that you know are in your life. Please write down 3 qualities that you feel a leader possesses, and write down 3 leaders in your life. Write down 3 qualities that you feel a leader possesses, and 3 leaders in your life. The 3 people that come to mind as leaders in my life are my parents, my hockey coaches, and my sister. They all represent being a leader in their own way. Right now, I'd like you to all close your eyes and raise your hands if you feel that you are a leader. Close your eyes and raise your hand if you think you are a leader. Okay, you can open your eyes. So, many of you raised your hand, but what really is a leader? We still haven't answered the question. Perhaps it's a person in power, a person with more ability at a certain profession than another, or maybe just someone that is there to help. Many people are leaders, and there are different leaders all over the world that are very prominent, but there are many, many more leaders than those obvious ones that immediately pop into your head. Overall, there are 3 main categories that all leaders will fall into. I would like you to write down these 3 categories in your notebooks. The 3 categories are everyday leaders, community leaders, and Christian leaders. Everyday leaders, community leaders, and Christian leaders. Everyday leaders, community leaders, and Christian leaders. However, it should be noted that many leaders do not directly fall into one category. Leaders like Gandhi and Martin Luther King fall into multiple categories. They fall into 2 or maybe even all 3. So these aren't set in stone, but these are just to help you understand what it means to be a leader. Now, the most common type of leader is the everyday leader. These are people like your parents, friends, family, fellow students, and even the occasional stranger. Some everyday leaders that are in my life are my parents and my sister. My parents have always been there for me, and they always will be. My mom and dad spend all of their time trying to make me and my sister better people, and are always there to try and make us happy. I remember when I was 10, I went to a vacation camp in New York, all the way across the country. Halfway through the trip, I got super sick. I was throwing up, had a fever. It was pretty disgusting. My mom decided to fly all the way out to New York in the middle of the week. She missed 2 days of work and took a red eye to come and get me and take me home. My dad is like one of my best friends. He's there to talk about whatever I want to. We talk about sports, life, and he can always give me quote unquote great advice about girls. My parents' concern and love for my sister and I exemplify that they are everyday leaders. They do the little things to try and make people happy. They try to do whatever it takes in that moment just to brighten someone's day. However, that doesn't mean that they haven't put my sister and I through tough times. When I was 10, my parents decided to get a divorce. My sister and I were told by my mom when we were driving home from a dinner that we had in downtown Los Gatos. At the moment, I didn't really know what to think about it. I didn't have a big emotional reaction. I just said, all right, that sounds okay. My sister, however, had a much different reaction. Once she finally figured out what it meant, what the divorce meant, that we would have to live at different houses and we'd have to go back and forth, she broke down and she started crying. I thought that I was going to have to be a leader for her. I was going to have to be her rock. She could come and talk to me and I would have to help her through these tough times, which I have had to do. There's been times when she's come to me crying, asking why our family isn't normal. But really, she's been more of a leader to me, and I've been able to look up to her in this situation. Even though she's been she's had to struggle through these situations. She's had to sleep. She'd had to move back and forth. She couldn't have been able to sleep at my dad's for the first couple months. She had trouble sleeping, and she had to sleep in my room on the floor. But she was able to power through, and she was able to get through it, and that was what inspired me. It made me recognize her as leader, that if she could get through it, if she hated this situation, she could get through it and make the best of it. That was her being an everyday leader. She was able to show me that no matter what, you can always get through it, and everything will get better. She kept going, and she never gave up. She taught me to push through when life gets difficult. We were able to help each other get through this difficult part of our childhood. This is an example of how a leader will not be perfect. There is no such thing as a perfect leader. Every leader will have struggles. Even if they're unintentional, they will eventually hurt somebody or make the wrong decision. We've all done it. That was just one example of my parents being everyday leaders, but also having slight struggles in their lives. Having struggles as a leader does not make you a bad person or a bad leader at all. Even though my parents' divorce was hard for my sister and I, they're definitely still leaders in my life because of the things they do every day to make it better for us. They don't ask for any recognition for their actions. They just want to see the happiness in my sister and I's in our faces, and see that what they've done was worth it. Now, only insert number of hands raised here. Of you raised your hands earlier. But you really all are everyday leaders. Doing the little things to make other people happy, telling a joke, hanging out with your friends, or helping someone with their homework, that is everyday leader material right there. Just by doing the little things, it makes you a leader. The second type of leader, a community leader, is slightly different from everyday leaders. A person becomes a community leader when he or she loves the community so much that they are willing to dedicate themselves, their time, their energy, and all of their effort to doing something that will benefit the community. Community leadership takes many shapes and forms and can be both large and on small scales. Some examples of these are community active families, church or volunteer groups, and even this kairos leadership team, and all of you that are on the trip. But to me, the one person that comes to mind as a community leader is my grandfather. My sister and I call him Papa because we don't want to confuse him with our other grandfather, who lives right down the street. My Papa does things that benefit the community in San Jose, but he also helps benefit my family community. When it comes to the larger scale, every week he goes to Sacred Heart Food Bank, which many of you have probably gone to before to do service. He goes there and serves food to the homeless for 6 hours a day. That's once a week, actually, but he goes for 6 hours. He also goes around the city during the week and picks up all of the bread donations from Safeway, Panera Bread, and local restaurants and drives them all the way down to the food bank in San Jose. He does this multiple times a week. Now, I didn't realize what he was doing and how big of an impact it had until he actually took me with him on one of his trips to the shelter. He introduced me to all the people that he worked with and served, and it filled me with a sense of pride that my grandfather was doing something so great to help the community around me. He was trying to help those who need it by just doing something simple, just collecting extra food and giving it to them. That's all you need to do. Just the willingness to get involved and help with people and help other people who need it. That's all you need to do to be a community leader. It doesn't have to be something huge. It could be something small. An example of one of those small things is when my Papa helps me and my family out whenever we need anything. He's one of those guys that can fix just about anything. I know all of you have those most of you have seen some of those people. I am definitely not one of those people. He'll come to help me, my mom, my sister, and I fix anything around the house. He'll repaint rooms, fix the shingles, and he'll change curtains and stuff. All the tasks that we aren't qualified to do as high school students. He will, when he asks me to help, he'll be extremely patient when I mess up whatever we're trying to do at least 4 times before I get it right. But he always is there with a smile on his face and is ready to help me. But most importantly, he's become a role model for me. That's what I think a community leader truly does. They were able to help those around them by getting involved in their lives and making it better. And he becomes a role model for those people. Someone for them to look up to try and emulate in order to be a better person. Now, Like an everyday leader, everyone can be a community leader. For instance, by attending this kairos, each and every one of you is a community leader. By participating in your small group experiences, helping to build spirituality within this entire kairos community, you are contributing to this smaller scale community. And every single person here can become a leader in that way. All it takes is your willingness just to get involved and participate. The third leadership type, a Christian leader, is a person that tries to be a leader by living his or her life like Christ. Now, Christian leader, most of you are probably thinking, oh, this is just for those religious people, for the Catholics. But that's not true. Every single person can be a Christian leader even without being religious. A Christian leader is just someone who follows the teachings of Jesus in how he lived his life. You don't have to worship him as a god or anything like that. All you have to do is believe that his life teachings are worth living. Now, there are certain characteristics that a Christian leader follows. They're honest, courageous, truly dedicated to others. They're a lover, a person who will love all he or she meets without judgment. A Christian leader is a doer. They will talk the talk and walk the walk. They will be out there to help you when you need it and be there for you to lean on when you need support. A Christian leader is a thinker. They're intelligent and has the knowledge to back up their opinions and their actions. A Christian leader is a realist. He or she will accept the situation they are in and won't try to be overly pessimistic or optimistic. They will just adjust to the different circumstances. A Christian leader is an innovator, someone who's willing to take risks or the lead role in different situations. He doesn't fear the unexpected, and they relish it. They are adaptable. They aren't solely ruled by their environment and know that they can make a difference no matter what. This is what all of us need to be when this retreat is over. Now, it must be noted that being a Christian leader, though this is contradictory to what I have just said basically, a Christian leader is also a failure. I'm not saying that this type of leader fails at whatever they're trying to do. I'm just saying that being the perfect Christian leader is not possible. We can get as close as we want, but being a Christian leader would be living the exact same life as Christ. And now, let's be honest, that's probably not what's going to happen. If you are perfect at this, then you should be someone that a church worships. But that doesn't mean we shouldn't all try. Just by trying, we're spreading Christian leadership around our world. Look around Bellarmine, for example. People laughing, talking. There are leaders everywhere. There are Christian leaders everywhere. Each and every one of those characteristics, I bet you can look around and see someone that has all of them. Now, it's hard to have all of those. It's possible, but it's hard to have them all. That's why you can't be a 100% all the time successful leader. And that's okay. That's what a leader is. A leader is going to have to make calls, and they're going to make a couple mistakes along the way. But by being there for others and helping those in need, being a leader is worth it. So a Christian leader isn't something easy, but it's worth it. Everyone can be one of these as well. So overall, what I'm trying to explain here through these three categories is that each and every one of you is a leader. Being a leader isn't something that should be taken lightly. It's a difficult task, and you're going to have setbacks. Just like my parents did when we were going through the divorce. Like my sister did when she was upset. And I probably could have done a lot more to help her through that tough time. That's one of my struggles as a leader personally. I could have talked to her more, tried to explain the situation, comfort her. Both of us are still a little scared about the divorce because it's still difficult for us and slightly uncomfortable. But I know we're always going to be there for each other. So, everyone here is a leader. A wise man once said, "Leadership itself cannot be taught, for natural leadership is inside us all. What can be taught is how to bring those abilities out." I am trying to bring out those skills today for myself and to help you along the way, and I will be trying to do so far, far, far into the future. This isn't a short-term process. It's long, hard, but it's definitely worth it in the end. Being a leader isn't easy. Leadership is one of the most critical characteristics in today's society. And those who attempt to bring out leadership in themselves or in others should definitely be recognized and be proud of themselves. So this will bring me to my personal definition of leader. My personal definition is anyone who influences others with his or her thoughts or ideals, even if they don't mean to. Now, that's just my perspective. I mean, there are thousands and millions and billions of leaders in this world. So there's no one definition that will encompass all of those. There are too many leaders to try and lump them all into one perfect category. So each of you must find your own meaning to the term leadership, because every one of you is leader. You just need to bring it out. Thank you.